For those of you just tuning in and you're just trying to get caught up, BSG has implemented what is known as an ARG, or alternate reality or augmented reality game. It's when game developers like this break the fourth wall. There are very, very famous ones for Battlefield. The probably most famous ones have been for Binding of Isaac and Trials. I would encourage you all to go read the history on them. They're very, very interesting. They usually involve very large puzzles, which is what BSG has implemented. Now, in breaking the fourth wall, that leaks out into our world, augmented or alternate reality, our world, the human world, where we're in on something that's leaked into the real world from the video game, and we're working away on trying to solve whatever the mystery is. That's what this is all about. For anyone interested in the ARG and you would like some more information on it, there is a Google document that has been created, curated by Trent AU and his community that you can look at your leisure, that includes all of the information, all of the screen caps of anything relevant, all of the text-based documents, all of the translated letters, all of the pictures of the original letters. Everything that has gone on in the ARG and everything we know this far can be found there. I will link that in the description, and I will pin a comment to the video for all of you should you desire to go and look at it for yourselves. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to pull a video that I basically made in front of chat yesterday to play for you all. That's going to recap basically where we are. If you would be so kind, if you end up enjoying the content, please consider subbing the channel here. You know, there's social media links, whatever, in the description. There's merch links, all that fun stuff. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to play the summary for you all. Just know that at the end of the video, the end of the description, which I believe is only about 5 minutes, we are currently stumped. So I will have a link to Nolan's Discord, Noiceguy, where it seems like the hive mind is kind of congregating at this point in time. Know that the maze has now been completely mapped, but we are stumped. Somewhere in the letters, we assume, is a clue. Either in typos that need to be very well looked over by people that are very fluent in their local languages, in the files themselves inside of the terminal where there's clues or something that hasn't been quite decoded as of yet that likely has something to do with either mechanic or sanitar. In all of these letters that I'm going to mention, there are passages where people, for whatever reason, make mention of sanitar being interesting, weird, accomplished, something like that, in the midst of talking about how they've been kidnapped, which seems very out of place. So I will play that for you now. Thank you so much for coming and checking it out. We'll see you in the next video, okay? All right, so TLDR. There was a YouTube video that got shared yesterday at like 6 a.m. Eastern. BSG posted a YouTube video where the Red Scav was talking to Chepu Sheila. Apparently, they're not at arms. They're not killing each other. So the Red Scav is just like, you're a dick for betraying me and like trying to sell me out to the Raiders. And Chepu Sheila's just like, whatever, here, have a note. And he hands them this note, and the note has the ars.host website, which is this Ars terminal right here, ars.host. And on the site is just like an empty terminal, but the note that he handed him had like a basic bitch username and password. And he said, yeah, just go here, type in the username and password, and you can talk to this super smart IT guy or deal with him or whatever, and it'll help you out, is what he said. So we, obviously having seen that, go here. In the course of that conversation, he also, the Red Scav told a story about how his dad was basically abducted when he was a kid by people that he believes worked for Terra Group around the same time that Lightkeeper showed up on the lighthouse, and that 5 other people went missing from what he said was his house. But I think it kind of meant like their area or like the company or whatever. 5 other people went missing is what he said. So if you go to the terminal and you typed in that information, it pulled up like a text terminal where you could type in all kinds of stuff, directory searches, like a DOS prompt kind of thing, where you could type in directory searches. You could open up different files. They were all text documents. Some of them were encrypted, and when you decrypted them, it led you to other user login information and other passwords, ultimately getting you to the point where there were 3 major logins. One was named Caesar, one was named Warden, and then there's one called Admin. Caesar and Warden, when you logged in and looked at text files that were in those, when everybody finally like decoded all that stuff, when you logged in and found those, there were documents that had like encoded game keys for copies of Escape from Tarkov. And then there was also like this larger thing. When you typed in a certain command string, this like decrypt deal, it would come up with this that would say like starting decrypting file, use up, down, left, and right commands to step-by-step decrypting file chunks, use exit to abort decryption process. What that meant was you got placed basically into a maze that was all based around text. So the only way to visualize it would be to put it into like a spreadsheet. And in my case, I started off with like a start point. Hold on, I'll pull it up and show you. So when I started working on this, it kind of looked like this, where like you would have like a start point, right? And then you would say like, all right, if I'm going to move up, then you would type in like up and move up 1. And then it would say, okay, it would say true or false. So in that true or false, you would know like, yes, I was able to move up 1, or no, I wasn't. So if you were able to move up 1, then you would, in my case, I would just track it on a spreadsheet. So that turned into a larger community effort where a whole bunch more people started contributing to like these larger spreadsheets. And like, as you can see, like my little like bit where I was finding like dead areas wasn't really helping. So you ended up moving through those commands, and then you would like track your progress, like step 1, step 2, step 3. And eventually you would either get to a point where it would tell you that you got disconnected, you died, right? So like you hit a pitfall and you died. You would get blocked for 30 seconds. You would get teleported to some square randomly in the maze and you had no idea where you ended up. Or if you got really lucky, you would find the goal, like a key. So the keys, at least visually represented, kind of looked like one of these green number 8 squares on this legend, okay? So these green squares were like the end goal. Remember, I said that 5 people, in the video, they said that 5 people got taken. So the assumption was that there were 5 keys located in the maze. And there were some like almost 1,000 people that contributed to the effort and still are, because all the squares still haven't been like tread on. So people are still moving through the maze in like little bits and pieces, trying to like locate every little square to see if there's anything else to be found. Those 5 keys equated to 5 IRL locations on the globe. The first one that was found was in San Pedro, California. So it would come out in the message would give you a set of GPS coordinates, and then it would give you like a little hint with a Google Doc that would give you like the like a picture. There'd be like a series of photographs that would give you like clues as to where it could be found. So then somebody actually like went to San Pedro. Somebody drove down to the beach and found like a glass bottle that was hidden under a rock. And then there were 4 others that were also discovered through running the maze with physical GPS coordinates, with other glass bottles, with notes handwritten in whatever language was local to where it was found. One was in California, one was in Turkey, one was in France, one was in Japan, and one was in St. Petersburg, Russia. So all of those have now been deciphered or localized to English and localized to Russian from whatever language they were originally written in. And they all speak of like 5 people that all had interesting DNA sequences that basically got either abducted, or in one guy's case, he got contracted to go somewhere else on the globe, somewhere really cold. And they basically got kidnapped, and I would assume experimented on. And it looks like they were experimented on either by Sanitar personally, or they were experimented on by people that worked with or for Sanitar. And that's basically where we're at. So what they're trying to do now, what we're all trying to do now, is either analyze the letters to see if there's any like context clues or like stuff that looks like a little bit off, to maybe make up a key code of some kind, a password for the terminal, because we don't have a password for admin yet. Or it's something having to do with the spreadsheet, like the map of the maze, either like in having completed the maze and stood on every square, like maybe the terminal triggers into something, or the maze itself, if it's actually mapped accurately, has some encoded message in it, or none of those are true, and we're waiting on BSG to send us something that says, here's a clue for the next step. Because the video for the Rigi Chronicle thing says chapter 1 in the thumbnail, and that's basically where we're at. So the map is 92-ish, 90-ish% mapped out all the way. They're still waiting on like some final squares, and then they're going through and like fact checking the map to make sure that like all of the grid spots are like actually what they're marked, like what they're supposed to be. But that's basically where we are. So yeah, so yeah, so Scavrat just kind of nailed it. So like what I figure is what Scavrat's talking about is if we get admin level access, then we'll know kind of like what's going on. The dude that's kind of feeding all the information to us is this character named Kerman, Kerman, Mr. Kerman, who's apparently like some super smart IT like hacker bro, and we don't understand what his motivation is. It's just like he's given information. So at some level, the Red Scav is involved in this because his dad got taken, and Kerman is offering up clues. And I guess we're like all the Red Scav's bros, and we're trying to help the Red Scav figure out what happened to his dad, I guess. And other than that, we don't really know what's going on. So at the end of this, I don't know if this is going to correspond to anything in-game, or if it's just going to be us running around trying to like do side pot stuff that has no actual meaning or bearing in the game at all. Or if at the end of this, they're going to give us arena, or, you know, they're going to drag it out for weeks and weeks and weeks until it's Christmas, and then we get streets, or we don't get street. I don't know. Maybe we're going to get Lightkeeper. I don't know. This will not be another nuke situation. All right. No more talks of nuclear devices. All right, there's no nuke, no EMP. Chat, maybe it's an EMP. I'm gonna be wearing the damn clown costume. I still got it. It's sitting in a little Amazon bag right over there. I still got it. It's waiting right there for me.